Sky Genie Entertainment presents the following. The Sky Genie Show is not suitable for children under the age of 18. It contains coarse language, sexual references, my own personal views and opinions. The characters of this show are fictional and are made for fun, not harm. I would like to thank you for listening to the Sky Genie Show. Are you looking for the perfect Christmas gift for your family that happens to be very artsy? Get it artsy? Then get them the Jinder Mahal Drawing Kit. The Jinder Mahal Drawing Kit gets you 3 lead pencils. Sorry, no eraser. Due to budget cuts, it's very roid-tastic, said Vinnie McMahon. I now have something to gnaw on, said Kevy Dunn. And I now have something to amuse me, said Steffi McMahon. Get the Jinder Mahal Drawing Kit, and who knows, maybe you'll draw better than Jinder Mahal. This product may not be suitable for bad comedy skits, promo skills, or wrestling ability. Hello and welcome to the Sky Genie Show. This is the worst show ever. We're on episode 62 of the Sky Genie Show. And after 2 weeks I am back after my trip to Sydney. For people who may not know, I'm planning to go into radio full time, and to do that you pretty much have to do a lot of courses to be a professional. And since my town does have a local radio station, but it doesn't really take, it wouldn't really take me because one place, the people there are pretty old, and the chances of a person of my age, I mean I'm almost 30, but the chances of people my age getting any sort of job in there is pretty much not going to happen. And the one in the town after me only takes interns. So I was left with no choice of doing a radio course it's going to be an online course, but a radio course in Sydney, and I had to go get information for it. And so it was a whole process of going all the way down to Sydney, renting a motel, and no thanks to Google Maps, which took me all over the friggin' place. When I got to the place, the stupid thing is, I didn't look up, and I actually went around the corner, and there's no other way of getting into this place. And it wasn't until I already got in there and got out, I saw the sign up top that said what the place was anyway, but I wasn't really paying that much. I was paying too much attention to my phone with Google Maps, and with it leading me to a certain point. Stupid me. And it did it twice that day too, because as I know I live in Australia, but then I don't know my way around Sydney too well. Although the second place I went to, I could have found on my own. It's just normally when I go there, like, I know where Circular Quay is and I know how to get there. The thing is, I thought this might be easy if I used Google Maps, and it took me all over the place to find it, and it kept making me circle around the place where I was actually going. And it was trying to get me to go on a road. There was a certain turning point where it was the highway to go out of Sydney, and the thing is, you cannot cross there at all. But the thing with Google Maps, that it's programmed, even though you do walking, to be on the road. And well, in a city like that, you can't really be on the road. Well, not if you don't want to live. That's one thing. And some people are probably listening to this who live in the city and go, well, duh. But to my point, Google Maps was taking me every fucking where. So you can imagine what will happen if or when I eventually move down there, because the plan is, if I do this, because I did see a few radio stations around there, but you couldn't get in, but someone gave me advice, is to actually move down to Sydney, because that's where you learn. A lot of places in the rural areas won't take you, because even though you may have got the qualifications, and that you don't have the experience. So that may be a plan. But we'll cross that bridge when we get to it. Now, I will say there will be a break between the Christmas New Year period. It will be holiday shows. It will be the other two shows I did with Johnny Florida. There was a little bit of what I tried to do a Q&A session after it, and I don't know what I'm going to do with that. I may make it something that might be an exclusive thing for something like one of the other channels, say like BitChute or DTube or Mixlr or something like that. Maybe BitChute, because that's where I've been apparently getting the most views from. So I might put it there. But the first show back will be for after Wrestle Kingdom 12, in which I intend to watch and cover. Of course, if something major breaks, I'll probably record a little something, but it would pretty much have to be something like, say, I don't know, a Chris Benoit style thing of news, or something big like that to really have me going. Maybe if the NWA is to announce something, but then I'd probably wait that for the show anyway, because I think the NWA is going to announce something on January 1st. And I do believe I got into that debate with Johnny Florida, who has said that they're planning to do shows around March and April. But here's me thinking that January 1st, they had not announced anything of a TV deal. And the way they're doing the rounds is that they're going to places like Championship Wrestling from Florida, and I forget the other fed, but they've been making the rounds, sending feelers out there, and I think creating interest for the NWA product. Since this will be the first time it's actually being an actual company instead of a brand or a group of promoters, which what it originally was, that promoted wrestling around the world and had one world champion. I think it's at a tag team championships, but I'm not sure about that. And you think, I do all this research for years and years and years, and I get that out of the mind, so you forget a bit. Anyway, let's move on. A fan asked Dave Meltzer, could Ring of Honor sell out a 10,000 seat arena? Dave Meltzer had said that was impossible, because no other company besides the WWE, but no other wrestling company since WCW went out of business has drawn a 10,000 seat arena. And the only company that has is, of course, what I said before, is WWE. Never an independent promotion. And I should say within the US, because New Japan has. New Japan, All Japan, Pro Wrestling Noah, all those places have sold out 10,000 seat arenas, but this is strictly the US. To the point that Cody Rhodes and the Young Bucks have decided to take that bet. Now, no news has been dropped at this point of recording. My feeling is, if this was to be done, I would probably make it around Final Battle next year and get whoever they can to sell out that show, because you know they're going to. And the idea before, where Billy Corrigan is sending out the world champion to other places, that would probably be a good idea, to get Billy Corrigan involved, who could probably get a reach out there for name value and make this happen. What they're waiting for is Ring of Honor's approval. The funding is going to be with Cody Rhodes and the Young Bucks for this show. Now, I'd love for this to happen, and not because I would love to prove Dave Meltzer wrong, but then, to me, if another company besides WWE is able to sell out a 10,000 seat arena, I think that would be good for pro wrestling. I think that would help rebuild pro wrestling and show people that the industry is not dead. And right now, it's hard to say because there hasn't been a lot of the independent promotions. There have been really good independent promotions with really good shows. Ring of Honor has put on some of the best shows ever. Same with other companies like PWG, Jersey All Pro, and I could name a bunch. But the issue is getting that attendance. Now, to help generate buzz for pro wrestling, I mean, there's the internet out there, there is social media access, and I think this is something, even though people say it's far-fetched and won't happen, but then people should probably get behind this, and if it were me, it is me, and I will proudly post this, even though this probably doesn't get past maybe 2 or 3 people, but promote wrestling, let wrestling get out there, and let's help sell this place out. And I don't see why not. I don't see why we can't help sell out a 10,000 seat arena. It benefits this show, but it benefits you, the fans, because so many people, you watch WWE week after week after week, and how many weeks in a row have you come away from watching Raw, SmackDown, or a pay-per-view feeling very, very disappointed? I've gotten to the point where I only watch the WWE pay-per-views a month. That's 1 or 2. I still watch wrestling, but not as much WWE as I used to. And you can ask all my friends or my family, and they will tell you I pretty much live it. I got a shitload of DVDs and the video game out. If you're watching the video game save file, I do not have WWE saved superstars. I've pretty much got a heap of Ring of Honor New Japan guys. And it's sad because we've lost companies like TNA, which, okay, I guess you could say it's still sort of around, but it's not really. It's as I was saying, the old term, that to me the TNA or Impact or whatever it's called now is kind of become very bush league. And yes, it still has life and value and people will still cover it, but the life of it's gone. It's moved to another country where they're paying people to turn up to it, but not many people are tuning in to watch it again. And the negativity has driven people off, and you can blame whatever it is. It's just put down to bad management. Either way, I think that company is just cursed with no success whatsoever, and that company was on the verge of success. If you go back to maybe 2007, 2008, that company could have been a big company. There was a lot of bullshit on there, I won't lie. When I was doing the old version of the holiday editions, and I went back and watched the TNA show from about 2008, and either 2006, 2008, and the match that got me, it was a women's match. It was pretty much a reverse cage match, and what the idea was, and it was a Russo idea, 2 women had to somehow manage to get inside the cage, and that's when the match would start. And to me, it was just very dumb and hokey. And let's not forget it was the electric steel cage match with the Dudley Boys, and I think it was LAX. But the one thing I used to say about it, that it did have some pretty good damn wrestling. You had people like AJ Styles, you had people like Christopher Daniels, Samoa Joe, you had Bobby Roode, you had James Storm, you had Petey Williams, you had a list of superstars that were actually pretty damn good. And the fact that company just never got off the ground, and with a PR person, because let's remember, Dixie Carter was a successful PR person, yet she let that company sink. She would never get them like a commercial time on a radio station. She would never get like a TV ad. Nothing. And they may go around and say they wouldn't have the budget, but then they never did house shows. They killed the house show circuit. Then after that, killed the pay-per-views, which was bringing them money. The difference between TNA and Ring of Honor have Ring of Honor have never gone out of their bounds. And what people think of Ring of Honor, they have never booked unnecessary stadiums or arenas where nobody would come. And the thing with this would be a risk for Ring of Honor because it would show where they would stand. And with Cody Rhodes funding it, they wouldn't really lose any money. But it would be a test for Ring of Honor because I think Ring of Honor is really a company that needs to sort of try to do this. And there is a fan base for Ring of Honor. People come to see Ring of Honor. And I think if promoted right, if booked right, if you got a really good match on that show, you could probably sell that thing out. WWE have driven off a shitload of wrestling fans. But there's still wrestling fans out there because they're always on the internet. They're always going to shows. They always looking for the best wrestling out there. And I say the best wrestling fans are the people that actually go and look for wrestling instead of relying on one company that says they're the only game in town when they're not. And it's clearly you can see that there's other companies around. Why not go for the market? It's there. And fuck WWE. People have proven that they can make money without the WWE. I hold out hope that someone like Emma gets signed to Ring of Honor and actually pushes their women's division, because I've looked at the Women of Honor and I've said it in the past shows that I think that the women should have a title and be on the show. I like the idea they're having the women's only show, but why not showcase them on a pay-per-view as well? And I think Emma would be someone who would be perfect for that role because she is hot and fresh off TV. She can actually wrestle and work and actually has the character to pull it off. Anyway, let's move on. A settlement between David Otunga and Jennifer Hudson has been made. David Otunga will get custody of their 8-year-old son, as it was found out that Jennifer Hudson had actually cheated on David Otunga and admitted to using the violence order to get custody of the kid. Yet she's going to be in another country filming a reality TV show. I forget which one now, it doesn't really matter. All I have to say to that is, what a total bitch. And I probably said it last time, but what a total fucking bitch. And yes, I am against violence against women. I think it's bad when men hit women, but in this case, this never happened. She admitted that this never happened, yet people still defend her when it never actually happened. So, how does that make her any much of a good person? It's amazing what fame does to you. It makes you a piece of shit. Makes you a weird, strange piece of shit. And hey, it could happen to anybody. It could happen to the nicest person in the world. Now, I don't know what this does for David Otunga in the WWE. I'm guessing he'll retire and actually ask for his release from WWE. Maybe he goes back in the ring part-time, who knows. Anyway, moving on. Drew McIntyre suffered a bicep injury in his match at TakeOver with Cien Almas. He has had surgery and apparently will be out between, I think it said 4 to 8 months. It is hopeful he will be back for WrestleMania, which would be cool, but I don't think so. I don't know. Hopefully he can come back soon. Paige made her WWE return 2 weeks ago while I was away. It has a new group with Mandy Rose and I forget the other chick. And they happen to do the same angle on SmackDown. Way to go, creative. Now, as people will know, I'm actually a fan of Paige. I think she's actually a pretty good worker, and I think she's excellent money as a heel. Now, what she does outside the ring, really, I don't give a shit about. It's not really my business. Hey, she did a sex tape, she had shit with Alberto Del Rio, did a fuckload of stupid shit, but who hasn't done stupid shit. Especially when she's, under 25? I mean, I've done stupid shit before, and whatever. Not to the degree what she has, but who honestly cares? I honestly don't give a shit who she fucks outside the WWE or what she does in her spare time. It's none of my business. And I think WWE did the right thing by making her heel, because if you return her as a babyface when you know she's a piece of shit outside, then it adds to the character. It adds when they're really them. And she probably knows she's a piece of shit. I mean, you have to know, people who are deemed a piece of shit probably know that they're a piece of shit. It's nothing new. Sunny probably knows she's a piece of shit. So does people like Ric Flair. It's wrestling, it's wrestlers, they've always been like that. Nothing new. Anyway, moving on. WWE is planning to do a tag team Money in the Bank ladder match. Now it's cool you got the Hardys back, but it would have been cool if Edge and Christian and the Dudley Boys could still wrestle, because you could have maybe a three-way thing, but then I guess you want to establish new tag teams. But then in WWE they don't establish any tag teams anymore. I mean, if you've noticed, in 2017 a fuckload of tag teams have broken up. Some they'll stick back together. I see Jason Jordan and Chad Gable coming back together, as well as Enzo and Kaz. But I'll get to Jason Jordan later on. Moving on. WWE had Starrcade. It featured 2 cage main events. It featured people like Arn Anderson, Ric Flair, the Rock and Roll Express, and wrestling for one night only, the natural Dustin Rhodes. Let's face it, the theme song is stuck in your head. People on Mixlr, that's why I was playing it earlier. You sung along. And Hideo Itami is set to debut for 205 Live. I like Hideo Itami, but I never watched 205 Live and I don't give a shit. So after the break, more of the Sky Genie Show. The Sky Genie Show will be back after the break. Can't get enough of the Sky Genie Show? Check out the website, skygenieshow.weebly.com. There you'll find links to past shows and much more. Go to skygenieshow.weebly.com today for in-depth discussion of professional wrestling, as well as politics and the stupid laws in your state. Check out Wrestling's National Committee with Johnny Florida, Old Man Jenkins and Papa Dave Sensei, live on Mixlr on Tuesdays during SmackDown, or the after party of Wrestling Soup, and on Sundays. Check them out. For in-depth discussion and show updates, go to the show's Facebook at the Sky Genie Show page. Do you need more fruits and vegetables in your diet? Check out juiceplus.com.au today. Juice Plus is the convenient and inexpensive way to add more nutrition to your diet from fruits and vegetables every day. Juice Plus Fruit Blend is made from 7 different fruits. Juice Plus Vegetable Blend is made from 10 different vegetables, grains, plus an array of natural antioxidants, phytochemicals, and fiber in a convenient capsule form. Each ingredient is especially selected to provide you with a wide range of nutritional benefits. We call it next best thing to fruits and vegetables. Check out juiceplus.com.au today. For those wanting to follow me on Twitter, it's at SDD916. Check it out. For discussions and opinions on the events of professional wrestling, check out Wrestling Soup with Joey Numbers, Anthony Missionary Thomas, and John Draper as they break down what's good and what's bad in professional wrestling with a light-hearted approach. Thursdays, 9:30 on Mixlr, Saturday morning-ish. And after every WWE pay-per-view, you get a free post-show review. Check out Wrestling Soup, motherfuckers. You are listening to the Sky Genie Show. And we are back. Now I will admit, I watched a bit of Raw this week, and it wasn't until I got to the Cruiserweight match that I turned it off. I saw the Matt Hardy delete thing, which I will get into a bit later. But I seen the segment with Jason Jordan, and Kurt Angle, where he was going to get a match with Kane, I believe. I forget the match, it wasn't really that important, but anyway. Now it seems to me the seeds of a heel turn is coming, and I'm wondering if Jason Jordan is the man who's going to beat Roman Reigns for the Intercontinental Championship. Before Raw, WWE promoted that Jason Jordan would be facing Roman Reigns for the Intercontinental Championship, and it never happened. Well, not so much promoting, but giving hints, in which we should have learned by now. Never trust WWE with hints. But anyway, moving on. Now, I was going to talk about this net neutrality thing. Now, it doesn't actually affect me, but it does affect friends of mine and of this show. If you go on the Wrestling Soup group page on Facebook, there is a link to voice your opinion against this, against getting rid of it. I mean, I love shows like Wrestling Soup. I love shows like Wrestling's National Committee, or DTKC Show, or Jason Solomon. I mean, I proudly promote them on this show, hence why I do the ads. And if you love them shows, and you like to enjoy them shows, you can throw a get in the corner with that one as well, because they would have the same thing. Then I would go and what's your opinion on that thing, and hopefully that thing, make sure that thing does not pass. Well, I say that doesn't affect me, I say with yet, because usually with Australia, it's USA say, Australia do. Pretty much, while we don't have net neutrality here, what would happen is that Australia will adopt the system similar to the US and pretty much try to copy the US, which would be a bunch of bullshit. Now, I don't know if it would be under this Prime Minister, because he's currently having a pretty bad time here, but if people in if the US pass it, I see us getting something where we don't get it. We are pretty much restricted on what we do. I mean, we had stupid video game laws, which I believe was one of the South Park games. When we got that over here, they had to edit things out of it because Australian censors didn't want to push it. Yet we got an arse rating system. Grand Theft Auto was the same. I believe it was Saints Row was the same, the fourth one. A lot of unnecessary bullshit that we shouldn't have to deal with. Anyway, moving on. Now, as I was saying a bit before, you've seen on Raw that the seeds of broken Matt Hardy is coming. Whether it's broken or awoken, who knows yet. Apparently, word has gotten out that Impact Wrestling, I was about to call them Anthem Wrestling, but you probably could call them that, Impact Wrestling, have decided not to pursue past gimmicks that were under the TNA or Impact name. Now, it's interesting because Jim Cornette had said that he had a sit-down talk with Ed Nordholm about people's gimmicks and not trying to take away their gimmicks. But I'm wondering if that had something to do with it. Now, this would be pretty cool, because if Matt Hardy is going under the Awoken gimmick, because it would be WWE wanting to put their spin on it, so it would probably be Awoken Matt. But if Matt Hardy was to be released from WWE, he could go on the independent circuit as Broken Matt Hardy. So this is a win-win for Matt Hardy either way. Now, people are wondering how much control he'll have in WWE. I don't think he'll have that much control, but he may have a little bit of a say. He may be able to map things out, because Matt Hardy's the only one who knows how to make the Broken Matt Hardy character work. Nobody else is able to get in his head. And it'd be funny, as I think it was Michelle saying, you get to see Vanguard 1, Senior Benjamin, King Maxwell, maybe in Rebby Hardy. Who knows? Maybe Jeff will lose his identity again, become Brother Nero. Yes, I know. Bad, broken impression. I guess I could be the broken Sky Genie, but then I'm already messed up as it is. I'm doing a podcast. Crazy, right? Anyway, moving on. Jim Johnston has been released from WWE. Jim Johnston was responsible from the 80s for giving wrestlers their music. From The Undertaker to Stone Cold to Bret Hart, The Rock, Shawn Michaels, Triple H, and yes, everyone's longtime personal favourite wrestler in the world, Virgil. And who knows, maybe Virgil's entrance theme was for no reason at all. But it sucks that this guy is getting released and not really getting any kind of credibility. I mean, there is the Warrior Award. Now, this was when the Ultimate Warrior pitched this idea, it was to thank the people behind the scenes. Guys like Bruce Pritchard, guys like, I don't know, production crew, referees, everyone that makes the show work. WWE, however, put it into another direction and just gave it to charities, to babyface it, which wasn't the idea, but oh well, right? But he would be the perfect person for the Warrior Award, because if they're pushing it as people who battle stuff, well, who's the guy that didn't push millions of entertainment in the thought of music? Because if you go back to the Attitude Era, there was a shit ton of awesome wrestling themes, from Road Dogg to D-Generation X to, man, a list of them. You could name off the top of your head. The headbangers. The fucking headbangers. Crash Holly. Kurt Angle's theme you hear right now is probably a creation from Jim Johnston. Anyway, moving on. For those wondering about TJ Perkins, why he hasn't been on TV lately, well, it's simple. WWE have nothing creatively for him. It's a giant waste of time, just like 205 Live. I'm sorry I've wasted 20 seconds on this shit. The Singh brothers are reportedly to be done with WWE. Giant waste of time. The Wrestling Observer have inducted Mark Lewin, AJ Styles, Ben and Mike Sharp, Minoru Mizuki, and Pedro Morales in the 2017 Wrestling Observer Hall of Fame. Mark Lewin won the IWA and WWA World Heavyweight Championship. AJ Styles, the IWGP, NWA, TNA, and WWE World Championships. For the Sharp brothers, who were former San Francisco and Chicago versions of the NWA World Tag Team Championship, and was instrumental in bringing modern professional wrestling to Japan. Minoru Suzuki was the co-founder of Pancrase, won the King of Pancrase Openweight Championship, was the All Japan Triple Crown winner, and the GHC Heavyweight Championship for Pro Wrestling Noah. He is currently the Never Openweight Champion in New Japan. Pedro Morales is the WWA World Heavyweight Champion, WWC North American Heavyweight Champion, and of course, former Worldwide Wrestling Federation Heavyweight Champion. So congrats to those folk. And CM Punk is set to have a meeting with Dana White of the UFC discussing his future in the UFC. CM Punk had that 2-minute and 14 tap-out loss late last year to Mickey Gall. I gotta say this for CM Punk's sake, I do hope that Dana White does the right thing and release him, unless they're gonna use him for like an announcer role or something like that. I really don't see any reason to keep him in UFC, especially when he hasn't really earned it. I mean, he got it because of his fame in WWE, and yet CM Punk is meant to be a guy who said, well, he wants to earn everything, but he got this because he was friends with Dana White. And that's the only reason why he's in UFC. He hasn't won any competitions, he hasn't really trained for anything, and he's a white belt in Jiu-Jitsu. I mean, anyone who's done martial arts at all, that means dick. Now, it's good he went to go chase his dream, but at the same time, this has tarnished his legacy a lot. But anyway, after the break, more of the Sky Genie Show. The Sky Genie Show will be back after the break. Are you a person looking to get into media for work experience? Then sign up to Sky Genie Entertainment. Sky Genie Entertainment is everything the Sky Genie Show, from the channels to the social media page, marketing and advertising. This is strictly for volunteering, so if you're interested, go to skygenieshow.weebly.com, follow the link to the Sky Genie Entertainment page and click the link to the inbox, where I will deal with you personally. On that page is a list of positions I am looking for. Check it out today. Looking for a good wrestling podcast for Sundays? Because let's face it, who isn't bored on a Sunday, but also wants to have that lazy day? Then check out the Solomonster Sounds off. He breaks down everything that in the week that was professional wrestling. Also check out his Facebook page, where there's numerous discussions on the topics of professional wrestling. Solomonster Sounds off drops every Sunday on Podbean. Check out the Sky Genie Show on YouTube, Mixlr, Vimeo, and DTube. Looking for a podcast instead of wrestling? And check out Get in the Corner with Dogger Baby and Yuck Nasty, 8:30 Wednesday night on Mixlr. Do you need a good laugh after the crap you see on Monday Night Raw? Then check out the Don Tony and Kevin Castle Show as they break down Raw and current events in professional wrestling. The Don Tony Kevin Castle Show, immediately after Raw. Hey, have you got a suggestion for stupid shit of the week? Then please send it to Twitter at SDD916. That is at SDD916 on Twitter. You are listening to the Sky Genie Show. Welcome back, and now it's time for
Stupid Shit of the Week.
This week's Stupid Shit of the Week: WWE Raw putting the cruiserweights right after the Matt Hardy Delete segment. What is the best way to get your crowd engaged for the rest of the show after you have pretty much a big time angle happen? Throw the cruiserweights on, because they will save the show. Fucking idiots. I'd like to thank you all for listening to the Sky Genie Show. Check out the many platforms on YouTube, DTube, BitChute, Mixcloud, and Vimeo. Our website, skygenieshow.weebly.com. Facebook, it's the Sky Genie Show page. On Twitter, it's at SDD916. Thank you for listening, and I'll catch you next episode. Bye. This was a Sky Genie Show production.